At the commencement of Sri Vishnu Sahasranamam today, I gave a shloka that talks about the greatness of Vyasacharya. Because though there was information available in plenty, at the end of the day, somebody has to take the efforts to compile and assimilate all of them together for us to relish and cherish later. One such great Mahaniya is Vyasa. That is why the place where we sit is generally called Vyasa Pitha. So Vyasa is very important. Even on the day of Chaturmasya Vratam, the beginning, all acharyas do Vyasa Puja because Vyasa is a great Maharshi. But this shloka is very unique. It's both mathematical and literary in approach. It says, who is Vyasa? It says Vyasa is Brahma. Vyasa is Brahma. How do we understand that? Brahma does one section of the Srishti. It is called Sadvaraka Srishti. So, Sura, Nara, Khaga, Go, Bhogi, Gandharva, Daityehi. So, he creates. Based on the karma account of each and every person, he assigns a Jivatma to a body. He does that. So, creation, assigning is the work of Brahma. Why is Vyasa Brahma? Because Vyasa too took the task of categorizing. See, in Six Sigma, we call it bucketing. You put the right elements into the right places. So he chose those mantras which are poetic in nature. He made them Rig Vedam. Those mantras of Rig Vedam which are tunable to music, he called it Sama Vedam. Those mantras which were prose in nature, he called it Yajur Vedam. And he took elements of Rig, Yajuhu, Samam and put them together with a Mantrika Bhagam called as Atharvana Vedam. So he has categorized. He has created Mahabharatam. Krishna Dvaipayanam Vyasam Vidhinarayanam Prabhum Kohyanyo Bhuvi Maitreya Mahabharata Krit Bhavet is a beautiful shloka from Vishnu Purana where the father Parashara ends up praising his son Krishna Dvaipayana. So Vyasa has done the task of Brahma in terms of knowledge. So he is Brahma, but Brahma has 4 heads. But Vyasa has 1. So the shlokam says, Achatur Vadanor Brahma. Vyasa is equal to Brahma minus 3 heads. Achatur Vadanor Brahma. He is Brahma, but Brahma minus 3 heads. Does he help us live better? That is the topic of the day. How does Vishnu Sahasranamam bring some kind of an ambrosia or a peace in our lives is the topic of the day. So sustenance, which is the duty of Narayana, is done by Vyasa. But Narayana has Chaturbhujam, Tamadbhutam, Balakamambhujekshanam, Chaturbhujam, Shankagada When Krishna was born in Bhagavatam, Dashamaskantam, Vasudeva says, I see a boy who is as blue-hued as a newly born sapphire in front of me with 4 hands. Tamadbhutam, Balakamambhujekshanam, Chaturbhujam. When Arjuna sees the cosmic form in the Ekadashadhyayam, which is 11th chapter of Bhagavat Gita, he's flabbergasted. He says, Krishna, I can't take this vision at one go. Come back to your original form with 4 hands. Svenaiva rupena chaturbhujena. So, Chaturbhujam is an identity, Adharatvam of Narayana. But Vyasa has only 2 hands. We call him Vishnu. But Vishnu has 4, he has 2. So, he's Vishnu minus 2 hands. Dvibahur aparoharihi. With the help of reading his granthas, internalizing, contemplating upon them, our papam is vanished. So he helps destroy the sins. Since he does the work of destruction, he is Shambhu, Mahadeva. But Mahadeva is having 3 eyes. Vyasa has 2. So he is Shiva minus 1 eye. Brahma minus 3 heads. Vishnu minus 2 hands. Shiva minus 1 eye. Achatur Vadanor Brahma. Dvibahur aparoharihi. Aphala lochana Shambhu. Bhagavan Badarayanaha. That Vyasacharya has been so magnanimous, has been so thoughtful, has been so systematic in preserving this quintessential knowledge in the form of a beautiful Mahat Grantham called as Mahabharatam. It is called Jaya. The original name is Jaya. So Jaya, also known as Mahabharatam, has close to, see, there will be variations. Some will say 1 lakh, some will say 1,16,268. One will say 1,25,000. So it is generally called Sapada Laksha Grantham. 1 plus 25,000, 1,25,000 verses. 2.5 times the size of Iliad and Odyssey put together, 3.5 times the size of Paradise Lost, 1,600 character names. The mammoth of Mahabharatam is unimaginable. But our acharyas knew our problem. Our problem is the moment we see the law. When I used to read Harry Potter, I used to be so worried, petrified looking at Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings book is close to Mahabharatam. So the size of the book is what that petrifies us. It worries us. So our acharyas say, read Mahabharatam, no problem. But I will choose and give you 5 ratnas in it. 5 gems, Pancharatnam. One is a conversation between the poor administrator called Dhritarashtra and his unfortunate yet wise brother called as Vidura. This conversation between these two men is called Vidura Niti. There is a conversation of Dhritarashtra with Sanat Sujata, so it is called Sanat Sujatiyam. So Vidura Niti, Sanat Sujatiyam. Next is a conversation between the Yaksha who protects a lake with Yudhishthira with 124 questions. What was that for? To drink water. To drink water, this man had to answer 124 questions rightly, and there was no possibility of a question paper leak. So 124 questions he has to answer without taking a break, no sabbatical allowed. 124 questions he answered at one go. And he got rejuvenation to his 4 brothers who were looking like dead. And this conversation is called Yaksha Prashnam. See, something very unique about this work is, this work, more than the answers were good. The questions were even better. So that is why it is called by the question, Yaksha Prashnam. Or it should have been Yudhishthira Uttaram, right? It is called Yaksha Prashnam. The questions were better. Wish people also ask good questions in the question hour, in the parliament. So, Yaksha Prashnam, 3rd Ratnam. The 4th and the 5th are a beautiful combo. Whenever sales don't happen, shops will always push a combo pack. So the combo, this one is a winning combo. One is where Paramatma is the speaker. The other is where Paramatma is the listener. Paramatma is the speaker in Bhagavat Gita. Paramatma is the listener to Vishnu Sahasranamam. One, Krishna himself spoke. Questions were asked by Arjuna. The other, Yudhishthira asked questions. Bhishma gave replies. This conversation was heard and witnessed and sanctioned by Krishna. Devaki Nandana Srishta, Kshitishaha Papanashanaha, Shankhabrin Nandaki Chakri, Sharanga Dhanva Gadadharaha, says Sahasranam. Krishna was there. That is why Adi Shankara very intelligently coupled this. Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram. Gita Nama Sahasram. He has put them together. Bhagavad Gita is an ocean. 700 shlokas. On a lighter vein, Arjuna did not know what he was listening to. See, his simple question was whether should I fight or not. Krishna could have, it's a simple objective question. Yes, no. Bas utna hi answer hai. Krishna started explaining Atma, Shariram, Karma Yogam, Jnana Yogam, Sthita Prajna, Parabhakti, Parajnana, Paramabhakti, Devasura Vibhaga Yogam. Arjuna forgot what he asked. Nammai, naan yen kelidde, ivaru yen helta idare. See, at times, they will say jokingly, you learn something for the exam and go. Question is something different. It is better you write what you know. It need not be an answer to that question. So, similarly, Bhagavad Gita is a beautiful conversation, no doubt. But it needs a lot of commentaries. It needs a lot of work. It needs sustenance. See, while I gave my thermodynamics paper in my first semester, how many engineers here? My deepest condolences. So there used to be a paper called as thermodynamics. There were only 2 questions. The first question was for 50 marks and the second was for 50 marks. The answer of the first question is the input for the second question. So there were only 3 options of mark scoring. Either you get 0, 50 or 100. You get none of the questions right, 0. You get the first question right, 50. If you get the first question and the second question right, 100. So these were the choices. We were about 850 people in our batch, 500 scored 0. Bhagavad Gita is like that. Because you cannot suddenly start with 12th chapter. Because the first 6 chapters deal with Karma Yogam and Jnana Yogam, Prathama Shatkam. Chapter number 7 to chapter 12 deals with Bhakti Yogam, Sadhana or Upasana. Then in chapter 1 to chapter 12, whatever questions were available, doubts were raised by Arjuna, were answered between chapter 13 and 18. This is how we split Bhagavad Gita. So suddenly I cannot begin in the middle. Whereas Vishnu Sahasranamam is the best of all. Because I can choose and pick names from anywhere and look into the commentaries and explain. So we are dealing with Vyasacharya, the greatest of the Acharyas. Vyasacharya's greatest creation called as Mahabharatam. In Mahabharatam, the greatest of the works called as Vishnu Sahasranamam. So in 3 levels, it suffices the condition to be worthy enough to expound in such an august gathering filled with so many astikas. So what is the essence of Mahabharatam in Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan? How many attended there? Some, nobody. So, Mahabharata Saratvat, Mahabharata Saratvat, Rishibhif Pariganataha, Vedacharya Samaharat, Bhishmotkrishtamatatvataha, Parigrahati Gita-tyaikarthakaschanaha. Such a beautiful delineation. He says there are 6 great qualities of Vishnu Sahasranamam. Listen to this because I'm just going to take 2 minutes for this. Then I have to go into the topic. Mahabharata Saratvat. The essence of 1,25,000 verses of the Brihat Grantham called Mahabharatam is in this 1,000 names. Mahabharata Saratvat. Rishibhif Pariganataha. Remember, just because Bhishma has used these names, it doesn't mean before that nobody used. He says Ramo, Viramo, Virajaha, Margo Neyo, Nayo Nayaha. He says Ramaha. But we had many Ramas before. We had J Rama. Yuradi. Jamadagneya Putrudu kada. Jamadagneya ki peru J Ram. If he has to give it in our birth certificate, he has to say J Ram. So we had one Parashurama called J Ram. Then came Dasharatha Ram, D Ram. So there were already many Ramas. Whatever was given before, who gave this name? Vasishtha. Krishna was called Krishna by Gargacharya. If you read Bhagavatam, Gargacharya came to the cow shed and named Krishna as Krishna. So Krishna name was given by a rishi called Gargacharya. Ramanamam was given by Vasishtha. Narasimha Vapuhu Shriman Keshava Purushottamaha, we say. Narasimha. We have Narasimha Avataram. Upendro Vamana Pramshuhu Amogha Shushirurjitaha. We have got Vamana Namam. So all these names were in the vogue, were in the existence. What Bhishmacharya intelligently did was, he assimilated all of them. That is why in Sahasranamam we say, Rishibhif Pari Gitani. Rishis have given this. So that is the great part. Mahabharata Saratvat, Rishibhif Pariganataha, Vedacharya Samaharat. Who has presented this to us? Vedacharya, Bhishma, Vyasa. Bhishmotkrishtamatatvataha. Vyasa may have retorted, but who said this first? Bhishmotkrishtha, Paramabhakta Bhishma gave. 5th, Parigrahati-shayataha. Very important point. It is not something that was written before, discovered suddenly. It has been there in practice. In Kadambari, a novel written 1,000+ years back, there is a description of the labor room, Sutika Graham, where mothers deliver the children. It was a practice in those days. Kadambari, he writes, Banabhatta, that in a Sutika Graham, in the labor ward, in the corner, there will be 4-5 people always reciting Akhanda Vishnu Sahasranam. It helps. It kind of catalyzes the mother's delivery. So there are references in Brihat Parashara Hora Shastram that if a Astika is suffering from kidney problems, recite Vishnu Sahasranamam. I'm not talking about now. 1500 years back they have said Vishnu Nama Sahasravan. Eye problems, respiratory problems. See, simple, I don't have to get into science at all. You keep reciting shlokas, you know how to breathe in and breathe out. Jadakirana Shakaladhara Jatila Natapati Makutata Natanapatu Vibudasari Ati Bahula Madhugalana Lalita Pada Nalina Raja Upamridita Nijabrijina Jahadupalatanu Ruchira Paramamuni Vara Yuvatinuta. See, the way our acharyas have written is to give an exercise to the tongue. Yoga gives for the body. What is there for the tongue? Languages. Parigrahati fifth characteristic of Vishnu Sahasranamam, it has been accepted by one and all. Eyes have it, eyes have it, eyes have it. Parliament, they say, right? This Vishnu Sahasranamam bill will easily get passed. Geetat yaikarthakaschanaha, the last of the characteristics, Vishnu Sahasranamam is the essence of Bhagavat Gita too. So these were the 6 features of Vishnu Sahasranamam that have been recorded by our Purvacharyas that I delineated in my Bharati Vidya Bhavan lecture, which is there available in Kaivalya Yantram. You know Kaivalya Yantram? Kaivalyam is to do Atma Vicharam. You think about the Jivatma. So if I'm going to say in terms of your perspective, it becomes Tvam. Tvam is you. Yantram is tube. So Kaivalya Yantram is YouTube. So see it there.